Friends, welcome once again to a Friday evening hymn sing here at the First Baptist Church of Freehold. We're so glad that you've decided to join us as we celebrate this Advent season. During Advent, we have taken the time to sing carols and hymns that remind us of the great promise of hope that leads us through Advent, that Christ is coming into the world again. So enjoy as we sing these songs of faith and expectation.
Everyone, and thank you for joining us for the first of 3 special hymn sings for the month of December, and we will be celebrating our favorite Christmas carols. And tonight we have a special treat. We will be singing 4 carols instead of our usual 3 hymns. The first carol that we just sang, of The Father's Love Begotten, was a special request of my mom. That is one of her favorite Christmas carols, but it's actually one she loves to sing throughout the year because the message is just so timely and not just applicable to Advent or Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed that, Mom. Our second carol for this evening is the one I will be telling the story about. And as we select our hymns, or in this case carols, we always have a discussion about which verses we are going to be including in the recordings and which ones we choose to cut. And this next carol is one that seems pretty universal, that you cannot sing this carol without singing all 3 verses. Interestingly enough, though, this carol was not always comprised of 3 verses, and in fact, the last verse was written by a different source, and we're not entirely sure who wrote the first 2. So here's the story of Away in a Manger. This carol is commonly known as Luther's cradle hymn, but did the great German reformer Martin Luther really write the words? This is a great mystery in hymnology. In 1887, Away in a Manger appeared in a little book of songs entitled Dainty Songs for Little Lads and Lasses. The songbook was compiled by James R. Murray, and a notation beneath Away in a Manger read, Luther's cradle hymn, composed by Martin Luther for his children and still sung by German mothers to their little ones. Only verses 1 and 2 were included. Away in a Manger quickly became America's favorite children's carol, the world's words being sung to 41 different tunes, and I'm sure many of you are at least familiar with 2 of them. Everyone assumed the poem had been written by Martin Luther. Then in 1945, Richard Hill published a fascinating article entitled Not So Far Away in a Manger, in which he announced he had discovered the first 2 stanzas of Away in a Manger in an 1885 songbook entitled Little Children's Book, published by German Lutherans in Pennsylvania, and no authorship of the words was given. Nor could Hill find any appearance of this carol in German church history or in Luther's works. After extensive research, Hill concluded, "It seems essential to lay aside once and for all the legend that Martin Luther wrote a carol for his children which no one else knew anything about, until it suddenly turned up in English dress 400 years later in Philadelphia. Luther can well afford to spare the honor." But he adds, although Luther himself had nothing to do with this carol, the colonies of German Lutherans in Pennsylvania almost certainly did. So the mystery endures. Who wrote Away in a Manger? There were apparently two unknown writers, a German Lutheran in Pennsylvania who wrote the first two verses, with another unknown author adding a third verse that first appeared in an 1892 songbook published by Charles H. Gabriel. Well, regardless of the authorship of the text, it remains a beloved Christmas carol, and we will be singing all three verses. thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope that you have found some joy in singing these beloved Christmas carols with us. Please join us for the next 2 weeks as we explore more of our favorites. And don't forget to visit our YouTube channel on Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. for our Advent contemplative services, which are taking the place of our scriptural meditations this month. We're going to be closing our Christmas carol sing with Angels We Have Heard on High, or as originally translated into English, Hearken All, What Holy Singing. So please join in with us, Angels We Have Heard on High.
Friends, go out into this night in peace. Go out knowing deep in your souls that God is coming into our world, that God is coming into each one of our lives. And may that fill you with hope, peace, joy, and love.